Hi my friends, today we model this part, rocker arm single, which is not simple. It is pretty complicated. You have to understand the drawing in order to create this model. Yes. If you want to see how complicated it is, I advise you to stop here. Don't look next in this tutorial and use only this drawing to create the model. Yes. If you model it without any other indication, you are great. I am sure of this. Before I start, I want to show you how I create such a tutorial. I start from a drawing. I select a drawing like this one. Yes, this was used by me for students in October 1987. After I study this a drawing like this one, which has many annotations, I create the first model. Then I create the drawing, the one you just saw, this one. This is created by me by using that drawing, which I want to tell you is wrong. It has many things wrong. We'll see them. For instance, this hole is not okay projected here because it is on with a slope axis. Yes, here in my drawing you see I have a first projection and then a section perpendicular on this hole to obtain this and place dimensions. We come back. After I create the model and the drawing, I recreate the part in order to obtain moments. This is a detail to see the data 5 October 87. Yes, I create the drawing, I print it, then I use it, checking every single dimension if it is well placed in the drawing and in respect of the problem. Then I create sketches like these ones, yes, to make the model. You see, there are a lot. The part itself is this one, and you can see why it's difficult, because this feature is placed sloped, yes, and you have to respect everything here, everything in the drawing, of course. Well, if you think you cannot create this model for yourself, go further and look to my tutorial. You'll find the drawing in PDF format by using the link at the end of the description. Let's start. We start by creating in the plane XY a circle of 40, diameter of 40. Finish sketch, extrude, symmetrical 27, and click on this small sphere here and apply -2 degrees, because there are two angles for this part, which is made by forging or by casting. Then I apply property to this unique solid with a color red. Okay, then I go to options, color, and I select forest as the color here. Why? Because I want to create planes, lines, and I want them to be very clear, each one. The first sketch is placed in this plane XY, F7, a line which is at 10 degrees, with its ends placed at 53 to the left and 28.5 to the right. Dimensions are in the drawing, and this point is placed at 22. Good. In the original drawing there is a dimension here, but the line is perfectly defined, fully constrained with these dimensions. Yes. Finish sketch. I use the line for creating a plane perpendicular on this, on XZ, as you can see. Then I create a sketch in this new plane, F5, to see the situation back. I project this end of the line in the drawing, because I place another point at a certain distance from the base plane. This new point is on the same vertical with the end at a distance of 16.5. All the dimensions are in the drawing. Finish sketch. Now I create an axis perpendicular on this plane, which contains the point. Another plane is based on this axis at an angle of the plane XZ. What angle? You see, you can rotate the plane, and the value of this angle is minus 3 degrees 30 minutes. Yes, or 3.5 degrees, sexagesimal degrees, of course. Okay, these two planes have an intersection, which is an axis. One plane, other plane. You see, we obtain an axis at the intersection of these two planes. Look at it. Everybody understand this simple thing. Then I create a plane perpendicular on this axis, which contain this point. All the other are not interesting to be present, so I make them not visible. I create a sketch in this new plane. I project the axis on the plane. I project this axis on the plane. A point is now present here. The sketch is a circle with a radius of 5. Finish sketch. Extrude. I extrude this circle to the part, but as a new volume. The other end is at the plane XZ. You see here all the construction. Okay, this second solid must be blue. I apply blue wall paint glossy. Okay, I don't need to see this. Instead, I want to place a point on this face at the intersection with the axis. We'll use this in the future. Okay, let's take a look at the drawing. You see that dimensions, angle of 10 degrees, 22.53 for this point, and 28.5 for this other end of that axis. We have here a circle with a radius 5. This is the cylindrical tube which is placed here. Good. We go further by creating this small part which has dimensions here 12, 6 placed at 7 and on the vertical with this point which I placed in the drawing before, and with the width of 14, yes, or length. This is width, this is length. You see, this is that small feature. I forgot to tell you that it is placed starting from the a plane placed at 28 from this end. The first volume was diameter of 40, angle of 2 degrees, and length of 27. This is 28 from here to the face. Good. Let's create that plane. Plane from here to the left minus 28. Okay. I extend this plane to cover all the part, auto resize, and I create a sketch here with that dimensions. A rectangle with 12 on 6, placed at 7 from the center point, 7 millimeters. As you can see, I project now this point in my sketch, and I make coincident this line with this point. An arc should be placed here, tangent to this, which is placed on the same vertical with the midpoint of the bottom line. The radius is 15, and we apply split to cut these two sides, and to make these lines and this small line construction lines. Finish sketch, extrude. As a new volume, we create several solids during this modeling. The length is 14, and a new volume will be created. This plane is no more necessary. This is the solid 3. I apply the color yellow to it. Okay, very nice. Now I want to create this rim, yes, and this is not as simple as it looks, because it is placed at an angle here, yes. Dimensions are frontal, yes, radius 18, radius 22, but the development is at an angle, not perpendicular on this face, yes. This is sloped, referring to this face. This is what I say. Okay, two dimensions, but this arc is tangent to this one. This is obvious for everyone, yes? Good. To create the rim, I reuse this plane, making it visible, and because this is 12, the rim has this dimension, I create two new planes. The first one is placed at 12 divided by 2 from that plane. I make this not visible, and the other plane is at 12 to the back, minus 12. Between these two planes I'll create an extrusion of a circular crown, which is placed as a sketch in the plane XY. As I said before, I project the arc, I draw a circle which contains the end of that arc and is tangent to it, like this. The dimension is of type radius 18. The other circle is concentric and the radius is 22. Good. Now extrude this circular crown between this plane and ending to this one. Okay, very interesting. Then I change the color of this new volume, because I created a new volume, the color orange, to be very well presented here. Okay, this plane and this plane are not useful. I create an axis as a reference, the axis of this cylinder, and a sketch placed in a plane at a distance of 10 from this face. Plane at minus 10. This is resulted by probing. Yes, I don't want it to be behind this face, so I place a value, an arbitrary value here. Okay, sketch, F7, F5 to have the previous presentation. Then I project some entities, this axis which is projected as a point, of course, this circle and this circle, to have limits for the new construction, and as well this axis. Good. I draw a rectangle between these two verticals, and which contains the superior side, contains this point. Good. Finish sketch and extrude. I extrude this rectangle from this face, yes, to the to this plane, as you will see. Select profile. The profile is this. The first plane is this one, and the other is the plane YZ. Yes, and now I want to intersect the cylinder with this, so I have to select which solid is to be combined with this new extrusion. You see, there are several settings here, very interesting and very important. Look at the result. Okay, we have now the rim. Yes, it is placed here between the other volumes. This plane is no more necessary, the axis is no more necessary. Now you see there is a gap here. We have to fill this gap. Yes, to do this we create a new sketch based on another existing plane, which is somewhere here. Which is here. We reuse this plane. We make it visible and we create a sketch in the plane. I rotate this to have the axis X to the right. Code F7. We can have a look inside. I project some lines to use them as limits for a new closed contour. This one is the other, and it is present here. Okay, we make all this as construction lines, and we draw now a polygon line from this point to this point, from here to here, then back here, and closing line between these 2 points. Finish sketch, F6, extrude. We have to select what happens with this, because this is not a new volume. This is a join, but with which solid this solid is to be taken as a reference to the cylindrical face. Okay, this is no more necessary, and we have a filled gap. Now I combine all the four solids in only one, taking this as a base tool. Combine, base tool, or base body and tool body, plus base body, tool body, plus base body, tool body. Okay, this unique solid, I want to have the presentation of steel cast. Okay, and I also place here the material steel cast. Then you see there is a protrusion here which must be eliminated, so I select this plane at a distance 0 from the face, and I use it to split. I use this plane to split the object by eliminating everything which is to the left of the plane. This means this arrow. Okay, this plane is no more necessary. Another thing to do is to apply here a radius of 5, and now we apply fillets of 5 to this small edges, as you can see. Other fillets are for these edges of 2, but only 3 of them, because this is inside. Good. Next is this face. You see, this face has dimensions. It is placed at the altitude of 22 from the center line, and the dimensions are here. A circle of 10, 9 millimeters from the midline of this, and here are a slot, 2 arcs which compose a slot, radius 9, distance of 1.5 between them, from the end of 28.5 of the axis here. The width of this is here 6. Yes, let's create this feature. We create a plane from here to 22 up, and a sketch in this plane. We project some important lines to be used. The axis, this point, and this ellipse. Yes, I want to see where is what is the parameter for the 28.5 because it is at the beginning. 28.5 is D5. Yes, I place a point on this line at the distance D5. D5. I reuse this dimension. Yes, I don't want to write here 28.5, and when the designer changes the dimension here to be left an obsolete value. Yes, all of them must be construction lines. And now we draw our lines. We start with a circle placed on this line with a diameter of 10. We project this line. We place a point in the middle of this short line. We make it construction line, of course. Okay, and now we place the dimension 9 from the circle to the point to place it in position. Good. Two lines starting from somewhere. Now I restart another line parallel with the other one to here. Good. The distance between these two is 6. To make them symmetrical about this axis, we apply a small and nice tip. Look here, I apply split for the circle in 4 points and for the lines in 4 points. Then I make them the new segments as construction, and I make equal which one? This one with this one. Yes, they are now equal, and this is symmetrical about the midline. If they are parallel, but they are not, there is something wrong. I apply manually parallelism between this. Now is okay. I draw a line, an end line here, which must be tangent to the ellipse. Trim to cut ends, unuseful ends. I have to move the dimension 6 from here to trim also, but I have to project this small line, making it construction line. Trim this end and this end, draw a connection line here, move again the dimension, and we go to the other end. The other end where we place a slot. Its axis starts from here to somewhere and the diameter of 18. The radius is 9. We write 9 multiplied by 2 because we use dimensions in the drawing always. This is 18, or radius 9. The dimension of this distance aligned is 1.5. Yes. Then extend this line to the slot and this line to the slot, and we have fully constrained this sketch. This is not enough because, as you can see, there are two fillets with radius 40. So I split the arc. I make it construction and I apply fillet with radius 40 between this line and this arc, between this line and this arc. Fully constrained. Now, for the reasons you'll see next, I draw a line perpendicular, not necessarily perpendicular, but let it be placed perpendicular, coincident with this center point or projection of the center point. The reason is that we have to extrude a part of this closed contour to the cylinder and the other part to a dimension. What is the dimension? The dimension is 22 minus 4.2. Yes, we have to extrude from this face to this face, but only to the right of the midpoint, center point. Good. Extrude the first to the cylinder plus this other face on a dimension of in the other direction, dimension of 22 minus 4.2. Okay, the face is no more necessary, and we go further. Next is this cut with a radius of 12.5 from the left center of the slot. Yes, this is placed in the left center of the plot of the slot, you see. Good. Face, sketch, circle, placed in this center and with a radius now of 12.5. Finish sketch. What is the depth? The depth is 22 minus 16.2. Extrude, cut this face, 22 minus 16.2. Okay, there are two fillets here of 2 millimeters. We apply them immediately. Okay, then we have another cut under this face, which is dimensioned right here, radius 10 from the same left end of the slot, radius 10 on what dimension? 4 point on the face. Yes, on this face. This face does exist. I tried some possibilities, and I know that if you want, we have to create first this fillet. Let's create it to have another idea of 10. Fillet, radius 10, which is this. Now we have to place here a cut, and this radius of 1.5 is not possible to be placed if we apply counter bore. So I apply a revolving solution with a radius 10 and fillet of that area to here. I create an axis of this end of slot, not this end, this one, and we use the same plane, this one, for a sketch, F7. We project the axis, the face, and this circle. Oh, why so many? You'll see immediately. A rectangle, not a slot, based on this, which has a small 1.5 fillet at this corner. Yes, this distance is 10, it is the radius. These lines are collinear, and the other end is tangent to that projected arc. I don't want to have here not solved dimensions. Yes, this is why instead of placing a dimension here, I use some entities from the construction of the part to use as ends. Revolve about this axis with cut. Okay, now there is a radius of 1.5 here. You try your solutions and you see which one are important and which are not. I make this not visible because I don't need them anymore. F6. Next we create some holes. One is this one, 32. The other one is this inside of 4 millimeters to the inner hole. Yes, and the last one is this metric 10 with a pitch of 1. Good. Hole on this face, center thread, ISO 10 with a pitch of 1, which is finer, through full depth of the thread, plus not threaded on this face with this center of 32, plus the other one placed on this face, not this, 4 millimeters, and this is the center, yes, central into the cylinder, to this. You can see the hole is inside the big hole. Okay, F6. Some chamfers. This is one at 45 and the other one is this one, 0.5, 0 point at 45 on both sides of the cylinder, central cylinder. Good. This is a chamfer of 0.5 plus another one of 1, not 0.5. F6. Very good. This is the part, my friends. Now we apply some fillets of 1.5 to the edges of the part, and also here. Not this one. If you want, you can add other fillets and so on. Good. Some faces must be machined. I select them and I apply still polished as appearance. Still polished. F6. This is the model, my friends. If you model it, you have here all the data. Let me select eye properties, update. You see here the dimension, the volume. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.